Well, dinosaurs might be extinct, but GS1100Es are not extinct. They're just rare, they're hard to find. This is one good example of it. We're going to ride today, and you can watch the whole video. Join us on the ride in full 4K. Adjust your device accordingly. Now, this whole summer we dealt with unpredictable weather, unpredictable things in our personal life, the garden, the rain, the heat. Every day's an adventure, every day's different. We're going to try to get out on the open road today, but you never know where a day is going to go. You start off a day and you plan this and plan that and go here and go there, and at the end of the day it's totally different. But today we want to get out on the open road. So is there ever a time you can predict the weather? Believe the weatherman? Look up in the sky and say, oh, it's not going to rain today, it's going to be sunny, it's hot, it's this, it's that. Every day is unpredictable, and this summer has been the most unpredictable year that I've ever been through with motorcycling. Time to get the bike ready, get out on the open road. So as I'm cleaning up T-Rex here, I'm thinking, wow, 42 years I've owned this bike, and I really have over-maintained it, I know that. And it has served me so well. Now, this morning I got a little email on my computer before I got ready to go riding. Our friend Scott out west has his eye on a GS that's supposed to be really, really nice, and I haven't gotten any pictures of it to share yet, but he is really excited, and we've been going back and forth several times of what he can do and what he made me making a 1,000-mile trip to go get it. Well, Scott, we're rooting for you. One thing about a GS, it may be a dinosaur, it may be a T-Rex, but it is a keeper. And almost everybody that had one and sold it is sorry they sold it. That's a given. And keeping it over-maintained, keeping it clean, restoring it when necessary. The things about it that are so good, it's just so comfortable. And it is, to me, it's the king of the dinosaurs. These old bikes, I don't think you can find a bike from this era that's a better combination of being comfortable, getting good mileage, being reliable. And of course, the real selling feature, the thing everybody loves, is that engine, that Chrysler Hemi engine. That is always the selling feature. Anyway, I got to pick Karen, a few fresh flowers. I got to check out all the loose ends around the house. There are some things going in the garden now. We're getting so many cucumbers every day. We're finally getting some tomatoes and fresh flowers, of course. And I want to have a good breakfast today because this is going to be a long day out on the open road, and I don't even want to stop for a bagel. I want to have my breakfast. We got a nice fresh melon, and boy, once you have that for breakfast, you're good for 4 hours of quality riding. Now, back in the early 80s when I had my 1000 Suzuki and then traded that to get this one, the big thing, and all the magazines were worried who would have the lowest ET, and I remember the bikes were just capable of getting into the 11s then, and boy was that a big deal. Wow, that was the big thing. But nowadays, it doesn't seem like anybody even cares about that kind of stuff. People are interested in better handling, better seats, more comfortable riding position, tires that don't wear out. There's a million other things, but the bikes have come a long way since the 80s. That's why we call these affectionately the dinosaurs and the T-Rexes. And I didn't own old T-Rex here very long, and my friends were going up to Lake George on a regular basis. We used to go up with other bikes, but boy, the day I went up with this bike on for the first time to ride to Lake George, it felt like it was half the distance and twice the fun. And this bike, on any long ride, this is probably the most comfortable bike that I own. Now, the part of my area that's full of these expensive houses, the roads are beautiful, they're not crowded, but you don't want to go up here with a loud bike. That's the one. Don't go with a loud bike. Now, when Joe Padula and I rode our two GSs together on a nice ride, we were like two stealth bandits up in this area. That was so nice. Nobody even knows you're coming. It's just wonderful. Now, one of the attractions of older, this generation motorcycles is the engine is out in the open where you can see it, you can polish it to your heart's content. And it's part of the machinery. You actually see the machinery. You don't see big slabs of plastic. And a lot of old guys like me like that. And I think, but I'm not sure, this was the first generation of motorcycles. Probably, maybe they even were earlier. It didn't have a Kickstarter. I guess we were done with that men were men thing. Men were electric starters back then. Now, anytime you have a 42-year-old anything, I look around and I say, what held up well and what didn't? Well, the motor is bulletproof, we know that. The exhaust system did not rot out even one bit. And the paint on this bike is almost as good as new. I've compounded it a little bit, but nothing really evasive. And everything about it, the suspension is still good. And it's had so little maintenance out of the ordinary. It's like, well, I shouldn't say it. Something will break now. It's been real reliable. Now, a lot of the roads up in this area, they see all the houses. This is the problem. You really need a quiet motorcycle. When you come up here with a loud motorcycle, boy, it seems like everybody walking a dog or looking at you, or they're ready to dial 911. I don't know. But it's a great, great place to ride. Young guys may not remember this, but back in the day, drag racing was such a dominant thing back then. And everybody, you'd go to a bike meetup or go someplace where bikes were hanging out, and guys would see you had a GS. Oh, hey, if you ever want to sell that motor, hey, I'll be interested in buying it. If you ever wreck that bike, drive it off a cliff, I'll buy the motor. And nobody wanted the exhaust system. People, hundreds and thousands of people threw the stock exhaust and airbox away, and now they're priceless. And if you find one, good luck. You're not going to get it cheap, that's for sure. But I always think the bikes ran better with the stock exhaust. But most of all, I like the look, the balanced look of the two mufflers. Just personal, just me. And one of the best mods I ever made was changing the gearing in the chain to 1640. And a 530 chain. Thank you, Vlad. That gives me overdrive on a ride up and a ride home. Random good things that you don't realize are important until you ride a bike for 3 or 4 hours. The seat is comfortable. Riding position is just, for me, my ergonomics just perfect. The bike shifts smooth, easy. It's like it's got power shifting. A beautiful bike. Now, it doesn't quite get the mileage of the MT-09, but the mid-40s, it'll do that almost all day long. And a nice big tank, 200-mile range. Now, and if there's anything that defines the GS1100, it is the power band. It is the T-Rex power band. You can bring that down to almost to an idle in any gear. Smooth as glass, and it's like a tractor. over the almost 80,000 miles that I've put on the bike, I've had many sets of tires, but for sure the Michelin Commanders are my first choice. Other people have had good luck with other brands, and I've tried many other brands, and all of a sudden I'm back buying Michelin Commanders, and that's just amazing that they work so well on this bike. I don't know why. They just do, and I don't need to know why. Then when it's ready for tires, I just get Vlad, give me another set of those Michelin Commanders. They are really good. Some of the mods I have found work well. That's an 86 exhaust system. You do need to make a different bracket for the back, but it does fit. And I'm assuming anything from 82 to 86 fits. The brakes are EBC rotors. And thank you, Pokey, and the steel brake lines. Joe Padula donated them. A nice upgrade to the braking and make it a little bit better than it was stock. I'm not sure it's night and day, but it's definitely a little bit better. And as I said before, the seat on this bike is so comfortable, and that you can use a front rotor in the back to save a couple of pounds of unsprung weight. And there's just a lot of little polished parts on this and very little flat black. And the thermometer says we're already at 90 degrees already, and so it's time to get back to the farm, back to air conditioning, see what Karen's got going on. T-Rex behaved pretty well for a dinosaur today. Oh, what a beautiful ride this was. What a beautiful bike this is. I'm telling you. You get home from a ride, you don't even have a backache. Anyway, I do remember one final funny story. Riding with a bunch of guys, younger guys, of course, with sport bikes, and at the end, you know, we stopped and had a little conversation. And the guy looked at my bike, one of the guys, I think he had an R6, I'm not sure. He says, "That bike's a dinosaur. Ugh, how could you ride that? It's a dinosaur." And I said to him, "Yeah, but it's a T-Rex." So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit the like button if you did, and thank you so much for watching.